what separates the best front rowers from the others. I think there's a little bit of God-given stuff. It's part of that process. A little bit of footwork sometimes, maybe a yard of speed, maybe a good bump when they carry the footy. So they were putting a bit of a hit on the guy trying to tackle them. You look at Blocker, for example. He had wonderful ball skills as well, and some of them have got that. Not all of them have that. One of their problems is young players, because they've always got a bit of size about them. They tend to run over their teammates at the younger age group, and so they don't think about developing their skills the way they should. But I think that the qualities that they have. Like Lazo, for example, for a big man, he was mobile, and you'd have to kind of train with him and be around him not to realise just how mobile he was. And then he had really good footwork at the line. It was only subtle footwork, but it was footwork that got him between bodies and got him onto his front really well. And he excelled in that. Webke, he was just a power forward. Like, he just loved the brutality of the contest. He loved the collisions. But he too had footwork. But he just preferred not to use it most times. He wanted to run into people. Andrew G, he didn't have great speed. He never had footwork, but he had it between the ears. So he knew his way around the game really well. He was smart, a very smart prop, and so that got him where he wanted to go in his footy career. So they're all different, none the same. The other thing with most of them, the blocks, they're not. You don't normally get your 6'4", 6'5" bloke. These guys are around the 6 foot mark, maybe 6'1" max, maybe somewhere between 5'10" and there, and just the dumpy little built blokes, or big block built blokes, but they're hard to tackle because of the way their gravity, sense of gravity of the ground and all that type of stuff is. So that's what the really good ones do. They know their role and they play it out to the fullest. And some days they've got to, take a pretty fair pounding because it's a tough game they're in. They never get an easy game. Always a tough game for them. There's never easy yards. There's always somebody in front of them to tackle them. And I admire their persistence and the way they just will do it for you every week and not complain about it, not tell you how hard it is. Just get out and do it.
I mean, separation of what makes a great front rower. I mean, there's a lot of different combinations, I suppose, but again, a lot of different shapes and sizes. You're going to be a big, tall, rangy front rower like I was that likes to run a little bit wide or might want to offload. You can have different body shapes, different jobs, different roles. But I think at the end of the day is that there's that real aggression that as front row, you're in the dressing room. You condition in your body for an onslaught. You've got a simple job to do, but it's really hard. Whereas your halfback sitting there and you've got to stay heady and light and direct the team around. So I think that's really important if you're playing in a team that you got a front rower there that's really aggressive. There's nothing going to stand. No one's going to stand over the top of him. And no matter what, rain, hail or shine or what the conditions, he never turns it up. He's always the same. He always does his job, and that's pretty rare. I mean, in the big stage in Origin, it's easy to overruled. It's easy for a front rower there to be a little bit intimidated or be thinking the wrong things and anxiety and different arousals and all that type of stuff. So a good front rower, I reckon, shows that consistency, but you've got to have that real aggression, whether you want to call the eye, the tiger, whatever, but super hungry. Let no one get over the top of you. And I used to think that when I was a young bloke is that, who's the best in the game now? What are they doing? I'd run at night, I'd run in the rain, I'd do all sorts of things, and I go, well, right now at this point in time, they're not doing more than me. I'm the most aggressive. I want it more than anyone in the world right now. So I think it's that type of dedication that the real great front rowers have got, is that hunger and drive to stay on top, real alpha male stuff.
What separates the best front rower from the run-of-the-mill front rower is, for me, two things: work ethic and impact. Impact in being having the ability to have that tough run, the ability to be able to defend, and impact in regards to collision, defensively and in order attack. That's two key components for me. And Glenn Lazarus had both. Glenn Lazarus could kick for touch. He could make a cover tackle, or he could actually bump 2 or 3 out of the way and get on his front and play the ball quickly. He could tie in defence, and he could also whack. So You know, your Glenn Lazarus's, and we were lucky in Canberra. Tim Sheen's had a great eye for front rowers. Brent Todd was another international front rower who was very, very tough. Not flamboyant, just tough. And Toddy was a real workaholic. Him and Lazo often at times I'd have to separate the both of them in regards to on-field fighting, not so much physically but verbally, and because they each wanted the football. It's pretty hard getting at those first 2 or 3 tackles of a set of 6, but they both were courageous and just damaging them. They were good. They were good educators. They were good mentors for guys coming through, younger guys such as Quinton Pongia, John Lomax. And when you earn respect in that position from other people, you know they're tough. And tough isn't cheap shots. Tough is being able to take a whack as much as being able to deliver it.
You know, concentrating on the little things, like, you know, being on the advantage line when you get the football, and, you know, not thinking about anything else but, you know, getting a quick play of the ball, you know, after you've made as much or as many yards as you possibly can. I don't think that they're priorities anymore in a front rower's psyche. I think they certainly think differently what their job is, and it's unfortunate because I think, you know, I think it's been proven over years that if you have guys that in your side that can cart the ball, you know, 30 or 40 times or whatever it takes, running into brick walls every time, getting up and playing the ball fairly quickly, it does create opportunities, and I think it's been a little bit lost recently.